A coalition of ambitious challengers stands before the imposing castle of the Demon Lord. A goblin leader boldly declares his intent to overthrow the current ruler. Another monstrous contender, flanked by his beasts, announces his own bid for the throne. From within, the Demon Lord responds to their audacity with a dismissive sigh. One of the challengers makes a forceful landing, trying to breach the castle grounds. The Demon Lord, utterly unimpressed, casually raises a hand, finding the display boring. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashes a wave of energy that devastates the attackers. The entire army is left defeated and scattered across the battlefield. He stands alone, having effortlessly crushed the rebellion before it could even reach him. This is the Demon Lord, a being whose power is rumored to be the strongest in all of history. He scoffs at the pathetic display, finding them all utterly weak. Bored with his own supremacy, he wonders if a true rival even exists. Countless challengers have tried to claim his throne over the years. Each one was crushed with the same overwhelming absolute force. But as he stands over the ruins of his latest victory, an idea sparks. He realizes there's only one way to find the fight he's been craving. The scene abruptly shifts to a bright modern-day cityscape. A young man wakes up in his bed, troubled by a recurring dream. His name is Kamikura Rena, and he looks exhausted from his nightly visions. The dream feels like a fog, leaving him with a splitting headache and a lingering shadow of the Demon Lord. He dismisses the dream, deciding to watch a stream about the world's hottest new job, dungeon exploration. 10 years ago, mysterious dungeons appeared on Earth, birthing an era of adventurers called Seekers who hunt for treasure. His attention is grabbed by a notification that his favorite streamer, Duncan, is going live. As the stream starts, a strange feeling of déjà vu hits him. He's certain he knows this dungeon. The stream's title, however, claims they're exploring a completely new and undiscovered route. This contradiction gives him a sharp headache, making him wonder if his mind is playing tricks on him. In a flash, the Demon Lord's sinister smile appears in his mind, intrinsically linked to the dungeons. The vision is so intense that it jolts him upright in bed, his eyes wide with shock. He finally connects the dots between his recurring nightmares and the persistent, throbbing headaches. With a look of grim determination, he concludes that the dungeons must hold the answers he seeks. Determined, he immediately searches for a way to become a seeker, finding an ad for mentored dungeon runs. Wasting no time, he joins a group of aspiring adventurers at the entrance to the 6th dungeon. Dressed in simple street clothes and armed with only a small knife, he stands out from the other recruits. A friendly guide named Konishi introduces himself, boasting about his level 20 status after a year of seeking. He cheerfully welcomes the new recruits, who offer a polite round of applause. Sensing their nerves, he confidently assures them that beginner dungeons are so easy, they barely need weapons. With their briefing complete, the guide turns and leads the hopefuls into the dungeon's depths. As they cross the threshold, a brilliant flash of blue light engulfs the entrance. The light seems to affect Rena more than the others, causing a sharp, familiar pain. His shock turns to disbelief as he realizes this place is identical to the one from his dreams. The group finds themselves inside the gloomy, cavernous expanse of the dungeon. The guide instructs the new recruits to check their stats by calling out the system command. A system window appears, revealing Rena's stats are at the absolute baseline for a level 1 beginner. He senses their disappointment and reassures them that defeating monsters will quickly raise their levels. Their next lesson is skill acquisition, and the guide confidently leads them further into the dungeon. He stops abruptly, indicating they've arrived at a chamber containing a single glowing chest. Yet again, the scene strikes Rena with an intense and unsettling feeling of familiarity. Inside the chest is a glowing orb, which the guide explains is known as the skill acquisition gate. The guide explains the trial. Infuse the gem with magic to summon a monster and defeat it to earn a reward. He concludes that this is the essential first trial for all beginners to gain skills suited to them. The guide asks for a volunteer, but the high stakes of a single attempt leave the recruits frozen with fear. Their anxiety mounts as they realize they have only one shot and must face the trial completely alone. Cutting through the tension, Rena calmly volunteers, surprising the other hopefuls. The guide happily accepts, confirming the name of his first brave volunteer. When the guide offers instructions, Rena coolly declines, certain he already knows what to do. His unexpected confidence leaves the entire group, including the guide, completely baffled. Rena reflects on the strange certainty that has guided him since he first stepped inside the dungeon. He instinctively knows how to channel magic, a skill he shouldn't possibly possess. As purple energy flows from his hand, he realizes this isn't knowledge but pure muscle memory. The orb reacts instantly, glowing with an immense power that far exceeds any beginner's capabilities. The guide and recruits are blinded by the intense light, having never witnessed such a powerful reaction. Renya's eyes widen in disbelief as he sees what his power has summoned from the orb. A ferocious level 10 Red Fang erupts from the light, far too strong for any beginner. The sight of the beast leaves Renya paralyzed with fear, questioning what he has just unleashed. The guide panics, recognizing the monster as an impossible challenge for a level 1 seeker. The fiery beast lunges forward, aiming to tear the seemingly helpless beginner apart. Frozen in place, Renya appears completely unprepared for the monster's lightning-fast assault. The guide desperately shouts a warning, certain that Renya is about to meet his end. But in a stunning display of speed, Renya effortlessly dodges the attack, leaving a trail of blue energy. The enraged Red Fang snarls, preparing to launch its next furious assault. The beast leaps high, its fiery claws extended for a devastating downward strike. Its eyes burn with rage as it focuses all its killing intent on the lone beginner. The guide and recruits can only stare in disbelief, questioning how a beginner could perform such a feat. But Renya remains composed, his grip steady on the knife as he analyzes his opponent. A tense standoff ensues as man and beast size each other up across the cavern floor. He confirms his suspicion. His body instinctively remembers how to fight these creatures. Tightening his grip, he realizes that if he continues to rely on instinct, he might just survive. His confidence is cut short by a sudden sharp jolt of pain. He falters, realizing his body is suddenly failing him at the worst possible moment. The familiar throbbing headache returns with crippling intensity, worse than ever before. The guide's voice cuts through the chaos, screaming a desperate warning to Kamikura. Distracted by the intense pain, Renya barely registers the shout, confused by the sudden turn of events. Seizing the opportunity, the Red Fang gathers its power, preparing to unleash a devastating fire attack. The beast spews a massive torrent of flames, engulfing the area where the stunned beginner stands. Renya can only watch in horror as the inescapable wall of fire barrels towards him. In that terrifying moment, he's certain this is the end, realizing his crippled body can't escape. But as his life flashes before him, a strange memory surfaces of a powerful being who craved worthy adversaries. This being, bored with his own overwhelming power, came up with a grand idea. He would create his own dungeon. His goal wasn't to build a fortress, but a crucible designed to attract and test the world's strongest fighters. By scattering legendary weapons and artifacts within, he planned to create the ultimate proving ground to draw in powerful challengers. This powerful being decided that if worthy challengers didn't exist, he would forge them himself. A crucial memory returns to Renya, revealing that every magic attack has a destructible core. Back in the present, he stands completely unharmed as the monster's flames part around him. With a single fluid motion, he slices his knife through the torrent of fire, dissipating the attack. The guide and recruits can only stare in disbelief, witnessing the impossible feat. The memory becomes clearer, revealing his past identity as the most powerful demon lord in history. Renya accepts the shocking truth. This legendary figure was his previous self. He realizes he is the creator of this very dungeon, which explains the unsettling familiarity. However, the memories of his death and how he ended up on Earth remain a frustrating mystery. Setting his confusion aside, he turns his attention back to the now cowering Red Fang. He resolves to deal with the monster first and his memories later. The Red Fang lets out a ferocious roar, its fear replaced by pure rage. He calmly regards the beast, identifying it as his first prey in a long time. A nostalgic smile crosses his face as he recalls the thrill of battle from his past life. Spurred by rage, the Red Fang lunges forward in a desperate final charge. Renya effortlessly sidesteps the attack, letting the beast rush past him. The guide and recruits are stunned, noticing the dramatic and sudden shift in his fighting style. He coolly analyzes the monster's predictable movements, finding them lacking. Enveloped in a powerful blue aura, Renya prepares to end the fight once and for all. In a final, desperate act, the Red Fang unleashes another massive blast of fire. He scoffs at the beast's futile attack, effortlessly parting the flames with his own power. With cold determination in his eyes, he declares the battle is over. A single, devastating slash of blue energy bisects the monster, ending its rampage instantly. He stands over the dissipating remains of the Red Fang, the victor of the one-sided fight. The guide and recruits are left utterly speechless, their understanding of the world shattered. As the last embers fade, Renya stands alone. the overwhelming power receding from his body. A system notification floods his vision, rewarding him for his overwhelming victory. His status screen reveals a massive jump to level 7 and the acquisition of a powerful new skill. Renya examines his new stats, intrigued by this strange phenomenon of leveling up. The guide rushes over, praising Kamikura for single-handedly defeating an impossible foe. The guide eagerly asks Renya to share the details of his new skill. He's left speechless upon learning Renya's fire magic aptitude is already at level 6. Renya smirks, knowing it takes most people over a year to reach that level of mastery. Seeing a chance to witness more impossible feats, the guide encourages him to test his new magic. Renya considers this, intrigued to see how magic works under Earth's unfamiliar status system. As he focuses, the spell's formula and power instinctively flow into his mind, wrapping his hand in flames. His concentration is shattered by a sudden terrified scream from one of the recruits. The female recruit points in panic, her voice trembling with fear at a new arrival. The guide's face drains of color as he recognizes the terrifying presence of a wandering boss. A colossal tyrant golem emerges from the shadows, a monster far beyond their recommended level. The guide panics, knowing it's unheard of to find such a monster in a low-level dungeon. Renya, however, seems lost in thought, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. A memory surfaces of his demon lord self, deciding to add a randomly appearing boss to his dungeon. He had worried that adventurers were getting too comfortable in the easy zones, stunting their growth. The wandering boss was his solution to weed out the weak and force the strong to get even stronger. He even made the boss slow, cleverly giving adventurers a chance to escape and learn from the encounter. His past self had been incredibly proud of this seemingly flawless genius plan. He even remembers his attendant questioning his brilliant, if slightly unhinged, idea. Snapping back to the present, Renya is annoyed at the memory of his attendant's disrespect. He now understands this tyrant golem is a problem of his own creation, a seed he planted long ago. The guide takes a determined step forward, deciding they have no other choice but to fight. He and another recruit agree to become decoys, preparing to sacrifice themselves. Their escape is completely blocked by the colossal tyrant golem guarding the only exit. The guide rallies the terrified recruits for a final, hopeless stand against the monster. Just as he's about to give the order, Renya calmly steps in front of him. The guide is stunned when Renya confidently declares he will take down the golem alone. The entire party can only stare, their minds reeling from his unbelievable statement. The guide furiously objects, insisting a rookie has no chance against such a powerful foe. Unfazed, Renya calmly faces the towering golem, completely confident in his abilities. A powerful blue aura envelops his hand as he reveals this is the perfect chance to test his new skill. The tyrant golem towers over Renya, its presence radiating immense pressure. He begins to cast a spell, identifying the formula for a simple flame arrow. A brilliant magic circle materializes before him, glowing with fiery energy. He analyzes the spell, finding Earth's system-based magic stable but disappointingly weak. The guide watches in disbelief, convinced a basic spell is useless against the golem. Renya calmly agrees, knowing the spell in its current form is completely ineffective. Undeterred, he presents the basic magic circle to the imposing tyrant golem. A confident smirk appears as he decides to simply rewrite the spell into something far more powerful. He recalls the true nature of magic, modifying basic formulas to create personalized, powerful spells. He begins his incantation, commanding the spirits to gather and reshape the magic into his own design. He pours immense power into the spell, sacrificing stability for overwhelming force that only his skill can control. A smug grin spreads across his face, confident that a mere system could never contain the power of a demon lord. System notifications flood his vision as his fire aptitude skyrockets, instantly evolving to the intermediate level. The guide and recruits shield their eyes, completely staggered by the unbelievable surge of magical energy. The tyrant golem instinctively lumbers forward, drawn to the immense power gathering before it. Ignoring the guide's frantic warning, Renya pushes further, knowing the spell is still not strong enough for his liking. In a flash, another system notification confirms his magic has broken through yet another barrier, reaching the advanced level. The simple magic circle transforms into a colossal, intricate rune of pure, destructive fire. With a bead of sweat and a look of intense focus, he announces that the wait is finally over. He thrusts his hand to the sky, unleashing the full, terrifying power of his custom-made spell. With intense focus, he initiates the final conversion of his spell. The magic coalesces into a colossal transcendent flame spear, dwarfing the golem. With a single fluid motion, he hurls the devastating projectile toward its target. The fiery spear blazes through the air, a blur of pure destructive energy. The spear slams directly into the tyrant golem, engulfing it in an explosive impact. A monstrous face of fire erupts as the golem is utterly consumed by the spell's power. As the blinding light subsides, he stands calmly amidst the settling dust, his work complete. The once mighty tyrant golem disintegrates, its stone body crumbling into a pile of rubble. The entire party is left utterly speechless, their faces a mask of pure shock and disbelief. The guide's mind spirals into denial, desperately trying to rationalize the impossible power Rena just displayed. The recruits slowly come to their senses, overwhelmed with relief that they survived the ordeal. The guide offers his heartfelt thanks, but Rena simply looks away, unimpressed by the praise. Suddenly, Rena's body gives out, staggering under an unseen weight. He collapses to the ground, recognizing the backlash from his own immense power. His body trembles uncontrollably, a clear sign his human form can't handle the strain of his demon lord magic. Catching his breath, he concludes he'll need to be more careful when unleashing his true strength. The rest of the party cautiously approaches their savior, who now seems surprisingly vulnerable. Later, he reflects that regaining his memories has only raised more questions about his new life. The most pressing question haunts him. How could he, the strongest demon lord, have possibly died? He ponders the mystery of his reincarnation and the strange status system governing this new world. He mulls over the mysteries of his new world, realizing someone has deliberately unleashed dungeons upon Earth. This confirms his suspicion. A single mastermind is behind the entire chaotic system. A confident smirk crosses his face, intrigued by this unexpected challenge. He clenches his fist, recognizing the dungeons as a training ground and vowing to conquer them from the very beginning. He envisions an imposter on his throne and swears to crush anyone foolish enough to claim his title. His expression hardens with resolve, ready to reclaim his rightful place. The scene shifts to the ominous entrance of the 6th beginner dungeon. Inside, a pack of savage kobolds, recommended for level 20 players, stands guard. Undaunted, Rena confronts them alone despite being only level 18. As a kobold lunges, he casually prepares a basic flame arrow, ready to show them the difference in power. He launches the simple flame arrow directly at the charging kobold pack. The lead kobold roars defiantly, attempting to swat the spell away with its weapon. The flame harmlessly fizzles out, prompting the entire pack to lunge at him in a furious assault. He calmly assesses that beginner magic is too weak, but intermediate spells would be a waste of mana. With a new plan in mind, he conjures the basic flame arrow formula once more. He masterfully rewrites the spell, sacrificing its range to drastically amplify its destructive power. The spell is instantly converted into a point-blank, zero-distance flame as he closes in on a kobold. He unleashes the modified spell directly in the monster's face, creating a devastating fiery blast. Surrounded by embers, he reflects on his technique, using beginner mana to achieve advanced magic's power. The remaining kobolds are paralyzed with fear, their ferocious expressions melting into pure terror. A system notification confirms his level has instantly jumped to 21. He recalls his plan to skip beginner dungeons and head straight for the more rewarding intermediate ones. Lying in bed, he calmly scrolls through his phone, researching his next move. He discovers that defeating the beginner dungeon's boss is the only way to unlock higher-level challenges. He calculates that despite the level gap, his advanced magic is more than enough to defeat the level 30 boss. Smirking at the wiki's claim that it takes years to clear, he vows to conquer the dungeon by tomorrow. The next day, he arrives at the massive, glowing doors of the beginner dungeon's boss room. He notes the blue gem on the door, a sign that the boss is currently unchallenged and waiting. With the path clear, he confidently prepares to enter and claim his victory. He suddenly pauses and turns, sensing an unexpected presence lurking nearby. A well-equipped party of 3, a swordsman, a tank, and a mage, blocks his path. The party's leader questions Rena's presence, confirming they both have the same target, the boss. The group is visibly unsettled, shocked that a lone adventurer would dare challenge the boss room. Rena coolly introduces himself, making it clear he's a solo player with no intention of backing down. The party leader, a level 31 swordsman named Aoi Yuto, steps forward to formally introduce himself. His companion, a level 31 tank named Himura Shinji, sizes Rena up with a confident smirk. The final member, a level 30 healer and mage named Aoi Shizuku, gives a friendly introduction. Noticing their shared family name, Rena bluntly asks if the two are siblings, catching the girl off guard. Shizuku clarifies they are cousins and graciously invites him to address them by their first names. They quickly agree on the informal terms, establishing a surprisingly friendly rapport before the raid. Yuto suggests retreating, but Renya counters with a bold proposal to raid the boss together. The swordsman hesitates, reminding Renya that joining them means splitting the experience points. Renya casually dismisses the concern, leaving the entire party speechless at his indifference to the reward. Overjoyed, Yuto extends his hand, thanking Renya and eagerly accepting the team up. They seal the deal with a firm handshake, officially forming a temporary alliance. A system notification confirms the new party roster, with Yuto designated as the leader. With the team assembled, Yuto begins channeling his mana into the door's gem to unlock the boss room. Shizuku expresses her gratitude for his help, and Renya sincerely reciprocates the feeling. A flashback reveals his demon lord self, admitting he's truly grateful after a lifetime of fighting his battles alone. He remembers secretly admiring the heroes who cooperated, never imagining he'd one day be among them. He feels a genuine sense of warmth, touched by this unexpected camaraderie. Shizuku explains her group are childhood friends who decided to challenge the boss after only 6 months as seekers. Renya listens intently, her story jogging his memory about his research. He recalls the wiki stating it takes an average of 2 to 3 years to clear this dungeon. Impressed, he compliments their rapid progress as Yuto finishes unlocking the massive doors. The doors swing open, and the newly formed party prepares to enter the boss's domain. As they step inside, Shizuku curiously asks Renya about his own experience as a seeker. He deflects her praise, casually revealing he's only been a seeker for 2 days. The entire party freezes, turning to him with expressions of complete and utter shock. Renya calmly holds up 2 fingers, confirming his unbelievable claim with a confident smile. The party is completely floored by the revelation that they've teamed up with a total rookie. Their disbelief echoes through the vast boss chamber as they process his 2-day claim. Refusing to accept it, Yuto aggressively demands to see Renya's seeker license as proof. Unfazed by the accusation, Renya calmly presents his official license card. The trio stares at the card, their expressions turning to utter shock as it confirms he registered only yesterday. Yuto rationalizes that Renya must have used expensive monster-avoiding tools to reach the bottom floor. Shizuku apologizes for her cousin's skepticism, though she also seems worried about Renya's recklessness. She voices her concern, emphasizing the sheer danger of a 2-day seeker challenging the final boss. Renya internally acknowledges their harsh judgment, but smugly recalls his true identity as a former demon lord. He resolves that words are pointless, and decides to prove his overwhelming strength in the upcoming battle. Renya's sharp gaze narrows as he senses something is deeply wrong with the situation. The party scans the vast empty chamber, questioning the conspicuous absence of the boss. Shizuku voices her unease to Renya, confirming the strange and unsettling atmosphere of the room. Yuto desperately asks Shizuku to open the exit, but she realizes with a jolt that they are trapped. Ominous red notifications flood the room announcing an extra boss has been summoned due to their party size. Himura recoils in shock, unable to comprehend the term extra boss. Yuto's confidence shatters into pure panic as the situation spirals completely out of their control. While his new allies freak out, Renya remains perfectly calm, curiously analyzing this unforeseen event. A magnificent lion wreathed in flames materializes before them, its fiery gaze locking onto the party. The entire group stands frozen, their faces a mixture of terror and disbelief as they confront the legendary hidden boss. Yuto panics, shouting that their intel never mentioned a hidden boss like this. Even Renya is perplexed, trying to recall if he ever designed such a feature for his own dungeon. Desperate for answers, Yuto orders Shizuku to appraise the beast, and she nervously complies. Shizuku focuses her mana, activating her appraisal skill to analyze the new enemy. The skill reveals the monster's identity. A flaming lion, a creature defined by its fiery mane. The fearsome lion stands before them, its entire body wreathed in intimidating flames. Shizuku's face drains of color as the appraisal reveals the boss's recommended level is a staggering 40. Yuto's hope shatters, realizing they are 10 levels too low to face this opponent. He questions the dungeon's logic, wondering why a beginner area would spawn such a powerful monster. With no escape, the party braces for a fight, accepting they must face this impossible challenge together. Renya's eyes widen in a sudden flash of memory, realizing the origin of this disaster. He recalls his past self, the Demon Lord, complaining that dungeon crawling had become too safe and boring. The Demon Lord remembers adventurers simply fleeing from his roaming monsters, avoiding any real challenge. Annoyed by their cowardice, he had decided that this safe approach would never forge true heroes. To spice things up, he designed a system to spawn a powerful extra boss after a set number of clears. His subordinate had protested, arguing that such a feature would be a death sentence for most challengers. The Demon Lord coldly confirmed that once trapped in the boss room, there would be no escape. He briefly considered his subordinate's point, admitting the concept might be a little too extreme. Instead of removing it, he decided to simply increase the number of parties required to trigger the event. Back in the past, the Demon Lord waves off his subordinate's worries, keeping his final decision to himself. In the past, the Demon Lord confidently moved on, leaving his subordinate to ponder his master's grand designs. Rena smirks, remembering how he panicked and set the trigger count so high he thought it was impossible to reach. He realizes with grim irony that the impossible has happened, triggered not in his old world but here on Earth. The sheer number of challengers on this new world was the one variable he never accounted for. Instead of despair, Rena is overcome with tears of pure, unadulterated joy at this miraculous turn of events. He feels an overwhelming urge to share this exhilarating moment with his terrified companions. Snapping back to reality, Rena abruptly turns, startling his party members who are still frozen in fear. He stands before them, a lone figure of excitement amidst a sea of dread and confusion. A strange aura envelops Rena as he clenches his fist, wondering why he's the only one thrilled by their impending doom. The flaming lion lets out a silent, fiery roar, its burning eyes fixed on the dysfunctional party. Rena calmly assesses the situation, deducing the flaming lion's fire resistance will make things tricky. He realizes his current arsenal is limited to fire magic, forcing him to devise a clever new strategy. Yuto, still underestimating him, shouts for the rookie Rena to get back to safety. Annoyed by their ignorance, Rena decides it's time to shatter their misconceptions about his strength. But just as he's about to act, he has a sudden change of heart, pausing his plan. He remembers his original purpose for creating this boss, to test challengers and foster their growth. Stepping in himself would deny Yuto's party the very challenge he designed for them. With a newfound resolve, he steps back and decides to entrust the battle to his companions. He watches from the sidelines, letting the trio face the fearsome beast he created. Without warning, the flaming lion lunges forward, launching a ferocious assault on the unprepared party. Yuto and Himura steel themselves for the incoming assault, taking their defensive positions. Rena watches with academic curiosity, ready to see if his companions have what it takes to survive. Himura bravely steps forward, taunting the beast to draw its attention onto his shield. The lion ignores the tank, instead lunging past him with terrifying speed. It cunningly redirects its attack, whipping a massive tail of fire directly at Yuto. Yuto looks up in shock as the fiery arc descends, leaving him no room to escape. He barely dodges the swift attack, frustrated by the monster's superior reflexes. Yuto warns his team that the creature's flames will burn them on contact. Rena observes with a critical eye, noting that the two frontline fighters are barely holding their own. He smirks, recalling the party's third member as Shizuku begins to channel her magic. Shizuku's eyes blaze with determination as she prepares to unleash her magic. She launches a massive sphere of water, hoping to douse the beast's flames. The spell collides with the lion, but its fiery aura instantly vaporizes the water. Her attack sizzles into nothingness against the creature's intense heat. Shizuku stares in disbelief, her most powerful spell rendered completely useless. Rena calmly assesses that her magic is simply too low level to penetrate the lion's defenses. Refusing to despair, Yuto charges forward to re-engage the monster in close combat. Himura follows suit, conjuring a magical shield to protect his teammates. The two fighters coordinate their assault, flanking the beast from both sides. Unimpressed, the flaming lion glares back, its power far from diminished. Yuto celebrates prematurely, believing his sword strike has found its mark. Himura's hope surges, thinking a sustained assault might actually defeat the beast. But their brief success only enrages the flaming lion, which unleashes a deafening roar. The gash on the lion's side glows with intense heat, beginning to mend itself instantly. Yuto watches in horror as the wound vanishes, realizing their efforts were futile. The fully regenerated lion retaliates with a magical counterattack, overwhelming Yuto's defense. A massive explosion of fiery energy erupts from the beast, engulfing both frontline fighters. Shizuku looks on in terror as she witnesses her companions get blasted by the powerful attack. Springing into action, she rushes forward, preparing to cast a healing spell on her fallen comrades. The lion immediately shifts its focus, its glowing red eyes locking onto the vulnerable healer. Shizuku freezes, paralyzed by the sudden shift in the monster's attention. Even while injured, Yuto's first thought is for Shizuku's safety. The downed tank, Himura, uses his last bit of strength to warn her to flee. The massive beast confronts the lone healer, its fiery maw open in a terrifying roar. As the flaming claw descends, she confronts the grim reality of her own demise. A surge of defiance courses through her as she rejects the idea of dying here. But just as the beast strikes, an unseen force intercepts the blow with a resounding impact. Knocked to the ground, she looks up in disbelief, miraculously saved from the fatal blow. She looks up in confusion to see Renya's back, a swirling aura revealing he was her mysterious savior. Her mind struggles to process the impossible, her gaze fixed on the rookie who just saved her life. The flaming lion snarls, momentarily stunned but far from defeated by the unexpected intervention. Renya calmly notes that the beast's fire resistance is just as high as he designed it to be. He deduces that his instant improvised spell was only a fraction of his true power. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he acknowledges the overwhelming power gap between them. Cracking his knuckles, he relishes the challenge of facing his own overpowered creation. He stands as a lone guardian, shielding the bewildered Shizuku from the monster's wrath. Renya coolly considers the best way to dismantle the fearsome boss he brought to life. He instructs Shizuku to tend to her injured teammates, confidently taking on the fight himself. Trusting his words, she hurries away, leaving the rookie to face the fiery behemoth alone. The enraged lion retaliates, swiping at Renya with a colossal claw wreathed in roaring flames. Renya faces the towering beast, undaunted by its immense size and power. He boldly declares that he is the monster's true opponent. The lion lets out a furious roar, lunging forward to strike him down. With incredible agility, Renya sidesteps the devastating blow that shatters the ground. The beast whips around, surprised that its attack completely missed its target. He stands untouched, casually observing the creature's futile assault. A knowing smirk reveals he's merely toying with his powerful creation. He begins to gather a chilling blue energy in the palm of his hand. The flaming lion snarls, sensing a new and dangerous power emanating from the rookie. Renya's cold gaze signals that the time for games is officially over. The beast's fiery gaze locks onto Renya, recognizing him as a genuine threat. He quickly formulates a new strategy, concluding that close-quarters combat is the key. With his plan set, he begins to weave a new and complex spell. Renya unleashes a unique spell, a zero-distance flame construct, designed for point-blank range. He expertly manipulates the spell's formula, compressing its effective range down to mere centimeters. The spell transforms, wrapping his hand in a controlled, powerful aura of fire. This technique envelops his fists in a fiery barrier, perfect for both blocking and striking. He then channels the magic throughout his body, reinforcing his physical capabilities. His preparations finished, he smirks confidently, his fists now glowing with immense power. Without a moment's hesitation, he lunges forward to meet the beast head-on. He unleashes a furious volley of magically enhanced punches directly into the beast's face. The flaming lion snarls in rage, stunned by the unexpected pain from the close-quarters assault. Using its back as a springboard, Renya continues his relentless attack while riding the charging monster. His eyes narrow with focus as he winds up for another devastating fiery blow. The beast roars in disbelief, unable to comprehend how a human can overpower it at such close range. In a desperate move, the lion unleashes a powerful shockwave of energy to blast Renya away. Renya lands smoothly, correctly identifying the monster's attempt to create distance with a magical burst. But that tactic proves useless as he instantly closes the distance again, refusing to give it breathing room. His cold gaze promises that there will be no escape from this confrontation. He follows through on his promise, slamming another magically charged fist into the beast's side. His fist connects with a blinding flash, unleashing a torrent of magical force. Unfazed, he stands his ground, the residual energy from his attack still swirling around him. His expression shifts slightly, revealing he's noticed something unexpected about his creation. The beast roars in defiance, battered but not beaten by the relentless assault. It retaliates with a ferocious pounce, soaring towards him with claws extended. Its pounce culminates in a devastating impact, engulfing the area in flames. Having effortlessly evaded the blow, he clears the dust cloud with a simple gesture. He coolly notes that his creation is proving to be even tougher than he anticipated. Realizing blunt force is insufficient, he decides a new approach is needed for the final strike. He resolves to end the fight with one decisive strike, knowing that reckless attacks will only make the lion more dangerous. He clenches his fist, realizing his fire magic alone won't be enough to finish the job. A sudden thought makes him glance back towards his watching teammates. He sees his exhausted party, with Shizuku still ready to provide support. Her worried expression gives him the final piece of his new strategy. A brilliant idea strikes him, completely changing his approach to the battle. He realizes he doesn't have to face this overwhelming challenge by himself. It dawns on him that his dream isn't to be a lone hero, but to fight alongside his friends. With newfound clarity, his eyes gleam with a renewed sense of purpose. He turns away from the now comically puzzled lion and calls out to a startled Shizuku. With a confident grin, he declares that he needs her power to win this fight. Shizuku is completely stunned, pointing at herself in disbelief at his sudden request. He urgently instructs her to deploy the water magic she had prepared earlier. Despite her surprise, she quickly understands and agrees to follow his lead. She confirms her role, assuming she needs to create an opening in the beast's defenses. Rena clarifies that her only job is to complete the spell construct, nothing more. She watches him stand firm against the roaring beast, ready to buy her the time she needs. Her doubt vanishes, replaced by a firm resolve to put her complete trust in his plan. With renewed determination, she begins to weave a powerful water spell, a magic circle glowing around her staff. She unleashes her spell, sending a torrent of blue magical energy hurtling toward the fiery beast. Her gaze is locked in concentration as she expertly controls the flow of her powerful magic. The enraged lion lunges forward, determined to stop Shizuku's spell at all costs. Shizuku holds her ground, her expression hardening with resolve as she continues to channel her magic. Rena stands firm, his own fiery magic flaring as he prepares to intercept the monster's charge. He meets the beast's fury with another explosive punch, buying his teammate precious seconds. The lion snarls, momentarily stunned but still pushing forward with incredible force. With a single gesture, Rena conjures a chain of pure fire, commanding the beast to halt. The magical restraint slams into the lion, wrapping around it and causing it to roar in agony. The clash of elemental forces results in a massive cloud of steam and dust, obscuring the battlefield. Through the haze, Shizuku looks on with concern, her powerful water spell now fully formed. She anxiously awaits his next command, unsure of how to use her completed spell. Rena confidently tells her he'll handle the rest of the plan. He suddenly places his hand over hers on the staff, much to her surprise. A flustered Shizuku completely misreads the situation, thinking he's making a move on her mid-battle. He calmly instructs her to ignore his touch and concentrate solely on her magical energy. Her confusion deepens, unable to comprehend his bizarre request. She's then shocked to see her own water magic moving independently around her staff. Rena reveals the unbelievable truth. He is now controlling her magic. He declares their preparations complete, explaining that what he's doing is an extraordinary feat. Shizuku learns that a skilled mage can rewrite another spell, but only with their permission. Rena acknowledges that manipulating her power isn't as easy as using his own. He admits a critical limitation. He can't simply upgrade a basic spell to a high-level one this time. The best he can manage is an intermediate-level spell, which he knows is useless against the roaring beast's defenses. But with their elemental energies swirling together, he reveals he has a completely different plan in mind. He explains his audacious strategy, combining her water magic with his own fire magic, two spells that shouldn't work together. With a precise gesture, he begins the impossible task of weaving the two opposing elements into a single construct. Shizuku watches in disbelief as he defies the very laws of magic, forcing the two spells to overlap. The conflicting energies of fire and water stabilize into a perfect, swirling ring of power around them. This feat should be impossible, as combining different elements typically results in a catastrophic magical failure. The flaming lion senses the immense danger and lets out a furious roar, preparing to charge. But Rena has triggered a rare phenomenon, creating a synergistic effect that multiplies their power tenfold, and he declares the fight is over. He unleashes their combined power, a new spell born from their synergy, the brilliant Azure Flame. The flaming lion charges recklessly, meeting the impossible fusion of fire and water head-on. The beast is instantly engulfed, its own fiery essence extinguished by the overwhelming azure torrent. A cataclysmic explosion of blue energy completely annihilates the monster, leaving nothing behind. Shizuku stares in stunned silence, unable to comprehend the sheer destructive force of their combined magic. Their teammates watch from the sidelines, their expressions a mixture of awe and utter disbelief. In the aftermath, only a trail of dissipating energy remains where the formidable boss once stood. A system notification confirms their victory, leaving Shizuku dumbfounded while Renya remains composed. Renya is flooded with notifications as he gains multiple levels and a massive boost in his stats. Standing in the quiet hall, he experiences a profound sense of accomplishment, a new understanding dawning on him. Renya reflects on the profound experience of fighting alongside his allies to overcome a great threat. Meanwhile, Shizuku feels completely useless, believing she didn't contribute to the victory at all. The other party members, still recovering, are convinced that Renya single-handedly defeated the monster. Their priestess can only stare in awe, still processing the incredible power of the final attack. She blushes, agreeing that the display of strength was unlike anything she has ever seen. Renya smiles to himself, feeling as if the entire surreal experience was just a dream. The red-haired warrior breaks the silence, bowing deeply and thanking Renya for saving his life. Renya casually dismisses the gratitude, reminding him that as comrades, mutual support is expected. The rest of the party chimes in, admitting they felt more like liabilities than helpers during the intense battle. Shifting focus, Renya directs their attention to the dungeon's core, telling them it's time to claim their reward. The priestess gestures to the dungeon core, inviting Renya to claim their prize. Renya steps forward, placing his hand on the glowing orb to officially clear the dungeon. A system notification confirms their victory, and orbs of light descend to grant each member their reward. They receive a transfer crystal, a rare item that allows fast travel between cleared dungeons. The rest of the party celebrates their new status as intermediate seekers, finally able to tackle harder dungeons. But another notification appears, granting a special reward for defeating the hidden boss. Shizuku is stunned to learn the reward is a book that grants a level 5 fire magic aptitude. The priestess marvels at the incredibly rare magic book, a fitting prize for their unexpected challenge. Shizuku questions how Renya knew the book's contents, and he casually reveals he used his appraisal skill. She's left speechless, realizing the man she's been traveling with was tackling dungeons without a basic appraisal skill until now. Shizuku panics, scolding him for the incredible risks he took by exploring without a basic appraisal skill. He nonchalantly reminds her he's only been a seeker for 2 days, a fact that leaves her completely stunned. She admits his overwhelming power makes him an enigma she can't possibly comprehend. Renya simply smiles, holding the rare fire magic book and contemplating his next move. In a surprising turn, he casually offers the priceless reward to a shocked Shizuku. She protests, but he reveals he has no use for it, as his own fire aptitude is already at the advanced level. The priestess points out the book's immense monetary value, making the entire party question his decision. Renya pauses, jokingly reconsidering his offer now that he knows how much it's worth. A sly look crosses his face as an idea seems to spark in his mind. His attention is suddenly drawn to another glowing object materializing in the now empty boss room. He kneels to pick up the new item, identifying it as a magic stone similar to one he received before. Renya proposes a trade, offering the valuable book in exchange for the newly acquired magic stone. With the dungeon cleared, the exhausted party members decide to call it a day and end their exploration. A flustered Shizuku clutches the book and shyly thanks Renya for everything. With a radiant smile, she expresses her heartfelt wish to adventure with him again in the future. Her 2 male teammates watch from the side, sharing a knowing and amused look at her change in demeanor. They tease her about her newfound gentleness, prompting an embarrassed outburst from Shizuku. The very next day, Renya wastes no time and decides to immediately tackle an intermediate-level dungeon. He arrives alone at the entrance of the 6th beginner dungeon, ready for his next challenge. To reach his goal, he must first navigate to the transfer zone located within this beginner dungeon. Renya stands within a glowing magic circle, identifying it as the transfer zone. He examines the transfer crystal, a beginner's reward that can only send him to 1 intermediate dungeon. With a flash of determination, he activates the crystal, initiating the teleportation sequence. He materializes in a desolate ice cavern, disappointed that the random transfer didn't lead to a high-value dungeon. A sudden realization dawns on him as he recognizes the frigid landscape as one of his own creations from his past life. He recalls this dungeon is in the unpopular Ertl region, a place he never developed, making it utterly worthless. The former demon lord is comically horrified, realizing he's been sent to his own least favorite creation. Composing himself, he observes the local monsters, lamenting his goal to find aptitudes other than fire. An icy beast emerges, confirming his memory that this dungeon holds nothing of value for him. With his path blocked and no rewards in sight, he concludes his only way out is the transfer stone. He recalls that a transfer stone, a rare boss drop, is the key to adding new destinations to his crystal. Renya grows frustrated, realizing a single stone would have let him choose his destination freely. A new idea strikes him. This dungeon might hold the key to advanced dungeons, but he's not yet ready for that leap. He curses his past self for this massive oversight in dungeon design, a blunder that now haunts him. Deciding on a new course of action, he resolves to use his crystal and return to the surface immediately. A quick check of his status reveals his impressive stats and advanced fire aptitude, despite his low level. Back in the city, Renya enters the bustling Seeker Guild for the first time, taking in the lively atmosphere. He marvels at the sheer number of adventurers and the vast array of goods available for purchase. A wave of nostalgia hits him as he wishes he could have seen such a vibrant community in his previous world. Renya walks up to the counter, informing the receptionist he intends to buy a transfer stone. The guild receptionist politely asks to see his seeker license for verification. Renya calmly presents his high-tech identification card. She apologetically informs him that transfer stones are restricted to experienced seekers. A nearby adventurer overhears, noting that Renya is just a brand new seeker. The long-haired man turns, a smug look on his face as he sizes Renya up. He mockingly points out Renya's rookie status to the flustered receptionist. A condescending grin spreads across the man's face, clearly enjoying the situation. The smug adventurer walks away, leaving Renya to face the guild's strict policies. The receptionist firmly repeats that only those who have cleared a beginner dungeon can make the purchase. Renya coolly reveals he's already defeated a beginner boss, stunning the receptionist into silence. The smug adventurer is completely taken aback, his condescending attitude vanishing in an instant. She verifies his claim by observing the glow from his transfer crystal, confirming he cleared a dungeon in only 3 days. The receptionist points out that his 3-day clear shatters the national record of 1 month. Despite the receptionist's shock, Renya remains unfazed, knowing his seemingly impossible feat is a fact. The commotion at the counter attracts the attention of other seekers, who are surprised to see the receptionist so flustered. Murmurs spread through the guild as adventurers speculate he must have leeched off a stronger party, much to Renya's annoyance. The smug adventurer who initially mocked him spots an opportunity to stir up more trouble. Flanked by his crew, the adventurer approaches Renya with a menacing grin, ready to assert his dominance. The group of veteran seekers surrounds the lone rookie, creating a tense and intimidating standoff in the middle of the guild. Onlookers identify the man as Usako, a C-rank seeker infamous for crushing the spirits of promising newcomers. Renya calmly assesses his opponent, noting that C-rank seekers are ranked by their impressive level. A quick rundown of the seeker ranks confirms Usako is a high-level veteran, far above a typical rookie. Usako gets in Renya's face, accusing him of talking nonsense about his record-breaking achievement. Renya coolly questions the accusation, while the terrified receptionist watches his bold response. The veteran declares he will personally test Renya's claims, ignoring the receptionist's desperate pleas to de-escalate. Usako justifies his aggression as a service to the guild, a way to expose a potential fraud. He gives Renya an ultimatum: apologize and walk away or face the consequences. With a subtle, confident smirk, Renya makes his decision without a word. He boldly accepts the challenge, promising to show the veteran seeker his proper place. The scene shifts to the guild's training grounds, where the two now face each other, ready for a duel with the entire guild watching. The crowd murmurs, recognizing Usako's infamous title as the Newbie Crusher. Onlookers shake their heads, lamenting the rookie's terrible luck for drawing the veteran's ire. Convinced of the outcome, some adventurers suggest getting a healer on standby for the aftermath. Usako taunts Renya, questioning if the reality of the duel is finally making him scared. The veteran's face contorts with malice as he promises to make Renya pay for not backing down. Renya cuts him off with a smirk, challenging Usako to let his actions do the talking. Usako's condescending grin returns, infuriated by the rookie's unwavering arrogance. The nervous receptionist stands between the two fighters, confirming they are ready to proceed. With a swift motion, she signals the start of the duel, and Usako instantly erupts in a fiery aura. He activates a physical enhancement skill, his body surging with power as he prepares to charge. Renya calmly analyzes the veteran's physical enhancement, deeming it decent but predictable. He confidently concludes that such a simple power-up can be easily dismantled by pure technique alone. To the crowd's shock, Renya activates his own physical enhancement, his hand igniting with a fiery glow. Usako lunges forward with a furious roar, unleashing a powerful energy-infused strike. With almost casual grace, Renya sidesteps the attack, leaving the veteran swinging at empty air. Onlookers are left speechless, stunned that the rookie is effortlessly evading the C-rank Seeker's assault. The receptionist watches in disbelief, questioning how a 3-day-old Seeker could possess such skill. Renya masterfully weaves through the barrage, ducking under a wild swing to find his opening. He seizes the opportunity, driving a precise, powerful fist straight into Usako's midsection. The veteran's face contorts in pure shock and pain, his arrogance instantly wiped away by the solid blow. Renya realizes his punch had no effect, recognizing the massive gap in their raw power. Usako effortlessly catches the rookie's fist, his irritation growing at the boy's audacity. With a burst of energy, the veteran flings Renya across the training ground. Renya flips through the air and lands perfectly on his feet, completely unfazed by the toss. Enraged, Usako unleashes a wide-area skill, a swirling storm of fiery red energy. The devastating attack rains down, threatening to overwhelm the entire arena. A smug grin spreads across Usako's face, certain his ultimate move has finished the fight. His confidence shatters into disbelief as he sees Renya emerge from the smoke. The rookie stands completely untouched, the veteran's powerful assault having missed entirely. Usako grudgingly admits Renya has some skill, but mockingly asks if he's ready to give up. Renya coolly reminds the veteran of his own promise to show him his proper place. Infuriated, Usako vows to thoroughly crush the rookie's spirit for his insolence. The rookie simply offers a calm smile, seemingly appreciating the veteran's determination. With a fiery fist and a confident grin, Renya challenges Usako to make the fight entertaining. The veteran scoffs from across the arena, questioning the source of the rookie's unyielding nerve. Losing his composure, Usako lunges forward again, intent on wiping the smirk off Renya's face. As the C-rank Seeker closes in, Renya calmly analyzes the situation, acknowledging his opponent's strength. He concludes the gap in their raw power is too vast for his current techniques to bridge. Renya realizes he needs a decisive finishing move if he hopes to win this fight. Usako grows visibly frustrated, shouting at Renya for simply darting around and evading his strikes. Usako gathers a swirling vortex of fiery energy, insisting that mere evasion is futile. Renya calmly identifies the attack as the same burning red rain, but his expression hints at a deeper understanding. The rookie notes the magic energy is on a completely different scale, realizing the veteran intends to end it all in one strike. Usako's face twists into a victorious sneer, certain that the rookie's journey ends here. Just as the veteran prepares his ultimate move, Renya realizes this is the exact finishing blow he was waiting for. A sly, confident smile spreads across Renya's face as his plan falls perfectly into place. He calmly activates a spell of his own, Parallel Expansion, causing intricate golden runes to dance around him. The crowd erupts in confusion, baffled by his decision to use a seemingly basic spell against a C-ranker's ultimate attack. Usako scoffs at the display, mocking what he sees as a desperate and useless act of resistance. With his runes glowing, Renya prepares to counter the massive assault with a deceptively simple fireball spell. Renya unleashes a volley of small fireballs, which fly directly toward the stunned veteran. The rookie's seemingly weak projectiles meet the C-ranker's overwhelming fiery assault head-on. Usako roars in defiance, refusing to believe he could be challenged by such a rudimentary spell. Instead of a fiery impact, the spells collide in a blinding flash of pure white-hot light. The entire arena is overwhelmed as the spectators shield their eyes and ears from the sensory overload. Renya reveals his true strategy, a modified spell of enhanced sound and light, effectively a magical flashbang. The spell's origin is shown as a firework display, repurposed from celebration to combat. Disoriented and blinded, Usako's ultimate attack fizzles out as he stumbles in confusion. The rookie's plan succeeded, severing the veteran's connection to his magic and leaving him vulnerable. With his opponent incapacitated, Renya reaches out, announcing his intention to steal the veteran's spell formula. Renya reveals that Usako's overwhelming power only made it easier to seize control of the spell. The veteran's own ultimate attack now swirls obediently above him, completely under the rookie's command. With a confident smirk and a simple hand sign, Renya initiates his spell formula hijack. He unleashes the veteran's own move back at him, turning the attack into a devastating counter. The hijacked spell, now infused with Renya's magic, slams down with overwhelming force. Usuko can only watch in utter disbelief as his own power is used to bring about his defeat. The veteran stumbles back, desperately trying to resist the inevitable as the attack overwhelms him. The force of the blast sends Usuko flying, leaving him defeated on the arena floor as Renya looks on. The entire crowd erupts, stunned into a frenzy by the unbelievable sight of a rookie defeating a C-rank seeker. Spectators struggle to comprehend the outcome, with some mistakenly believing Usuko simply self-destructed. Even the hooded spectators admit that defeating a C-ranker, fluke or not, is an incredible achievement. Renya notes that most of the crowd mistakenly believes the veteran simply lost control of his own power. Unconcerned with their opinions, he turns his attention from the defeated Usuko to what truly matters. He confidently asks the guild official to confirm his victory, and she hesitantly agrees. The announcer officially declares Renya the winner, and a satisfied smile spreads across his face. His stunning performance immediately sparks a debate among seekers eager to recruit him for their parties. The rookie simply smirks, fully aware of the newfound attention his victory has brought him. Wasting no time, Renya heads straight to the guild reception to purchase another transfer stone. The receptionist, clearly impressed by his display, agrees that his request is more than justified. She presents the paperwork for an intermediate dungeon transfer stone, his ticket to the next level. The receptionist casually informs him the stones start at 1 million yen, leaving Renya utterly stunned. His confidence shatters as the staggering price tag echoes in his mind. He questions if this is some kind of joke, but she confirms their rarity justifies the cost. Cutting her off, Renya frantically turns to check his own meager finances. He opens his wallet, only to find a few coins and a single bill staring back at him. The crushing reality hits him. He doesn't even have a fraction of the required amount. He laments his status as a broke university student, unable to afford such a luxury. A cold sweat breaks out as the path forward seems financially impossible. His desperate gaze then locks onto a pricey magic book displayed on the shelf behind her. Suddenly hopeful, he points and asks if it's a beginner's fire magic aptitude book. The receptionist informs him that even a beginner's book costs a staggering 1.5 million yen due to its rarity. A memory flashes through his mind of receiving an almost identical book in the past. He cautiously asks about the price of a level 5 book, and she estimates it could fetch around 4 million yen. A manic grin spreads across his face as the gears in his head begin to turn with a new, profitable idea. He recalls a time when he sat dejectedly, completely unaware of the treasure he possessed. Renya remembers being told to sell the book if he couldn't use it, now kicking himself for not checking its value sooner. He pulls out the 2 magic stones he earned as boss rewards, examining them in his palm. The rookie scoffs at their combined value of 200,000 yen, a paltry sum compared to his needs. He dismisses the glimmering stones as utterly useless for solving his massive financial problem. Suddenly, a brilliant, game-changing idea strikes him, leaving him momentarily stunned. He realizes there's another option, a secret hidden within the Ertl dungeon. Without hesitation, he teleports to the shallow layer of the Ertl Intermediate Dungeon, a vast cavern of ice. He's shocked that with so many seekers on Earth, the secret he knows of has remained undiscovered. The rookie stands before a shimmering wall of ice, confident that he's the only one who knows its true nature. He channels his fire magic, preparing to align its frequency with the strange fluctuations emanating from the wall. His flames meet the magical barrier, causing a powerful reaction that begins to melt the ice. As the ice recedes, a hidden passage is revealed, beckoning him into the unknown. With the path now open, he steels himself and steps forward into the darkness. He emerges into a hidden area, the icy wind snowfield, proud to be the first to set foot in this frozen wasteland. The triumph is short-lived as the biting cold hits him, and he realizes he can't survive for even 10 minutes. To combat the lethal cold, Renya summons his enveloping flame, cloaking himself in protective fire. The intense chill is instantly replaced by a comfortable warmth, bringing a smug smile to his face. Believing he's solved the environmental problem, his attention is suddenly drawn to something in the distance. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he realizes he's found the perfect warm-up for his real objective. A towering ice golem and a vicious cold lizard emerge from the blizzard, ready to defend their territory. He finds it amusing that ice-based creatures would dare challenge a master of fire magic. Still, he clenches his fist, deciding to at least acknowledge their foolish bravery before crushing them. The ice monsters hesitate, their instincts screaming at them as they face his overwhelming fiery aura. Unfazed, Renya summons a massive beast made of pure flame to deal with the minor inconvenience. After dispatching the guardians, he arrives at a grand, ornate door, the entrance to the hidden boss room. He knows the hidden boss is an ice dragon, with a recommended level of 60 to defeat it. The rookie pauses to consider his own level, which is far below the daunting recommendation. A quick check of his stats confirms he's only level 30, exactly half of what's suggested. Despite the massive level gap, he smirks, confident that he won't even break a sweat. With unwavering resolve, he places his hand on the door's fiery mechanism to proceed. The colossal doors swing open, revealing a blinding light from the boss chamber within. Stepping inside, he's greeted by the magnificent and intimidating sight of the ice dragon. The beast lets out a low growl, its glowing eyes locking onto the lone intruder. Renya simply grins, his own fiery aura flaring up in response to the challenge. He amplifies his enveloping flame, preparing to show the dragon the true meaning of heat. He knows the dragon's breath can freeze him, and his amplified flame is rapidly draining his magic. Realizing he's on a timer, he decides to end the fight in a single decisive instant. The ice dragon roars, preparing its attack, but Renya stands his ground, ready for the challenge. The beast gathers a massive amount of frigid energy in its maw, preparing to strike. It unleashes a devastating torrent of ice breath, aiming to obliterate the lone intruder. Unimpressed, Renya casually raises a hand as a fiery magic circle swirls to life. He counters with a great flame shield, sending a colossal wall of fire to meet the icy blast. His flames effortlessly swallow the dragon's attack, pushing back with overwhelming power. The ice dragon stumbles back, completely shocked that its ultimate move was so easily neutralized. Refusing to give the beast a moment to recover, Renya prepares to unleash his own fiery assault. He surges forward, wreathed in flames, ready to turn the tables on the beast. He unleashes a rapid-fire barrage of fiery projectiles, pummeling the dragon's defenses. The beast staggers back from the relentless assault, unable to withstand the sheer heat. With a confident grin, he knows this is just the beginning of his counterattack. Planting his foot firmly, he channels his power for an even more devastating blow. Renya closes the distance and lands a direct, explosive punch on the dragon's chest. The force of the impact sends the colossal beast flying helplessly into the air. He calmly observes his handiwork, knowing an airborne enemy is nothing more than a sitting duck. A massive, intricate magic circle of pure flame materializes around him, signaling his final move. The ice dragon looks down in horror, realizing it's trapped in the sky with nowhere to run. The dragon gathers its remaining power, its eyes glowing with desperate fury. Renya smirks, recognizing the beast is betting everything on a single condensed blast. He decides it's only proper to answer the dragon's final stand with his own full power. In a last-ditch effort, the beast unleashes a concentrated beam of pure, freezing energy. With unwavering focus, Renya prepares to release the full might of his own spell. He summons his ultimate attack, the Supreme Transcendent Flame Spear. The two cataclysmic attacks collide in a blinding flash of fire versus ice. His spear of fire effortlessly pierces the icy blast, striking the dragon directly. The charred remains of the once mighty beast crash to the ground, its flames extinguished. A flood of system notifications confirms his victory, rewarding him with numerous level-ups. With the boss defeated, a system message confirms a special reward awaits him. He's presented with 3 powerful ice-themed items, a book, a sword, and a staff. A knowing smile crosses his face as his eyes lock onto one particular item. While the weapons are tempting, he dismisses them and reaches for his true prize. He triumphantly holds the magic book, revealing it was his sole reason for coming here. As he opens the grimoire, ancient runes of power flow from its pages and envelop him. The system confirms his success, granting him the coveted magic freeze skill. He clenches his fist, thrilled that he can finally begin crafting his own magic tools. This new skill is the final piece he needed to unlock his full potential as a craftsman. He then recalls his ultimate fire spell, already planning how to combine it with his new ice ability. He begins the delicate process of channeling his fire magic into a spell formula, stopping it just shy of activation. At the critical moment, his eyes narrow as he activates his newly acquired magic freeze skill. A wave of icy energy washes over the fiery runes, locking the spell formula in a state of suspended animation. He's cleverly repurposed a defensive skill, meant to stop enemy spells for his own innovative crafting. With the first stage complete, he holds the crystallized form of his ultimate spell, ready for the next step. He initiates the imbuing process, forcing the frozen spell formula into the Flaming Lion's magic stone. He calmly holds the newly created artifact, a magic stone now brimming with the power of his ultimate flame spell. A closer look reveals the intricate runes of his ultimate spell, now permanently inscribed within the glowing stone. With a triumphant grin, he declares his project a success, a magic stone containing his supreme transcendent flame. He reflects that only a stone with extreme fire resistance like the Flaming Lion's could have survived the imbuing process. He realizes that just a small infusion of magic will be enough to release the freeze and activate the ultimate spell. He considers the market, noting the severe lack of powerful, single-use attack items. A greedy glint appears in his eye as he imagines the immense profit his new invention will bring. To make the item safe for anyone to use, he decides to add a shock-canceling spell to negate the powerful recoil. He also plans to create weaker versions, imbuing less resilient magic stones with more basic spells. With a look of pure satisfaction, he finishes his first batch of enchanted stones. He lays out his newly crafted magic stones, confident their sale will be enough to afford a transfer stone. Although his theory is sound, he knows he needs someone else to test the item for a true evaluation. He returns to the entrance of the dungeon, a vast and desolate snowfield. Wreathed in flames to ward off the biting cold, he waits for a suitable test subject to appear. His wait is cut short as he senses an approaching party, realizing they've discovered the hidden route. He overhears their excitement and feels a little guilty for having already cleared the area, including its boss. The group voices their concerns about the powerful monsters lurking within the newly found passage. A member of the party wisely suggests caution, remembering they're only in an intermediate-level dungeon. Deciding to make his presence known, he casually steps out from his hiding spot to greet them. The adventurers are none other than his former party members, who stare back in utter disbelief. Even the stoic party leader can't hide his surprise at this unexpected reunion. The red-haired warrior explains they found an unmarked route, completely unaware Rena already knows. Connecting the dots, the warrior points out that Rena just emerged from the very path they discovered. Rena casually admits to exploring the hidden area, leaving his old comrade completely speechless. The warrior, fired up, refuses to believe Rena has cleared everything. Certain treasures still await them. Rena nonchalantly advises them to come back tomorrow if they're after the area boss, as it needs about 20 hours to respawn. The two adventurers are left utterly bewildered by his mention of a respawn timer. The leader questions if Rena truly defeated the area boss, and Rena confidently confirms he did. For proof, he reveals the glowing, crystalline materials he obtained from the defeated boss. The sheer magical energy radiating from the proof leaves them stunned, with the leader admitting Rena is as incomprehensible as ever. The tense reunion is suddenly interrupted by the party's mage, who urgently calls out his name. Visibly flustered, she stammers that she's been wanting to apologize, leaving Rena to wonder what happened. Her expression turns serious as she reveals the apology is about a sudden, unexplained change in her level. She bashfully recounts the Flaming Lion fight, trying to explain how a brief interaction with him led to the strange situation. Rena grows uncomfortable as her poor choice of words earns him suspicious glares from his former comrades. She clarifies that the system mistakenly credited her with the Flaming Lion kill after he empowered her spell. The mage tearfully reveals that because of this, she suddenly gained 3 entire levels. While Rena sees no issue, she's horrified, believing she stole a huge amount of experience from him. Clenching her dress in guilt, she explains this is the real reason she needed to apologize so desperately. He nonchalantly brushes off her apology, claiming he can earn back that much experience in half a day. His casual remark leaves her speechless, as it took her party 6 long months to achieve similar growth. Rena realizes his own incredible progress has made him forget the struggles of an average adventurer. Despite his reassurances, the mage insists on repaying him for the unintentional boost. Faced with her unwavering determination, Rena sighs, recognizing her stubborn nature. A sudden thought strikes Rena as he considers the mage's determination to repay him. He realizes this is the perfect opportunity, as he was just looking for someone to test his new magic stones. The mage looks on in confusion, completely unaware of the brilliant idea forming in his mind. Having made up his mind, he reaches into his pocket to retrieve his new invention. He presents one of the enchanted stones to the bewildered mage, proposing a way for her to help him. She is taken aback by his sudden request, unsure how she could possibly be of assistance. Rena explains that he needs a tester for a new money-making item, and she's the perfect candidate. Eager to repay her debt, she enthusiastically accepts his offer without a moment's hesitation. Her party members express disbelief, knowing only high rankers can craft magic tools, but their leader accepts Renya's impossible feats. With a satisfied smile, Renya confirms their arrangement, his plan falling perfectly into place. With the deal struck, Renya leads them into the hidden area, a desolate and freezing snowfield. His former party members marvel at the unexpected snowy landscape deep within the dungeon. The biting cold immediately affects them, with the warrior complaining they'll freeze before any fight begins. The mage, already succumbing to the cold, starts hallucinating about a field of flowers, much to Renya's amusement. Deciding they've suffered enough, he prepares to cast a spell to warm them up. He effortlessly activates a parallel spell, enveloping himself in a comforting flame. The magical warmth instantly spreads to the entire party, leaving them stunned by his incredible control. The leader and warrior simply give up trying to comprehend his abilities, accepting his power is beyond their understanding. The mage gratefully thanks him for the incredibly useful and powerful warming spell. She blushes as she basks in the magical heat, feeling as though she's being embraced by Renya himself. Renya sternly asks her to stop making suggestive comments, as his former comrades are already glaring at him. Shaking off the awkward moment, he instructs her to activate the magic stone to begin the test. The mage eagerly accepts the glowing stone, ready to follow his instructions. Just as Renya begins to explain the activation method, he's abruptly interrupted. His senses flare as he detects a powerful presence emerging from the frozen ground. A colossal crystalline hand erupts from the snow, shaking the entire area. A massive Giga Ice Golem rises before them, its glowing eyes locking onto the party. The mage shouts in panic, completely caught off guard by the sudden ambush. Her terror intensifies as she reads its stats, realizing it's a formidable level 50 monster. Renya coolly informs her that it's not just any Giga Ice Golem, but a much deadlier reinforced variant. He explains these variants are powered up by consuming magic stones or being exposed to special energy. His former comrades panic, realizing they are completely outmatched and insisting on an immediate retreat. Renya, however, grins with excitement, seeing the perfect test subject for his experiment. He hands the mage his most powerful magic stone, urging her to give it a try against the golem. She stares at the small stone in disbelief, doubting it could have any effect on such a colossal foe. Unfazed by her doubt, Renya gives her an enthusiastic cheer of encouragement. They stand together, dwarfed by the immense ice golem looming over them on the frozen battlefield. The mage closes her eyes, resolving to trust Renya and hoping her attack will at least create an opening for him. Her eyes snap open with newfound determination, putting her faith entirely in his ability to finish the fight. She channels her power into the stone, unleashing a torrent of magical energy to activate the device. A gigantic spear of pure fire materializes above her, ready to be unleashed. With a final push of her will, she sends the devastating projectile hurtling toward its target. The flame spear slams directly into the Giga Ice Golem's chest with unstoppable force. A blinding explosion of fire and energy completely consumes the colossal monster. The mage is left speechless, completely stunned by the overwhelming power she just wielded. Renya calmly identifies the attack as a transcendent flame spear, much to the astonishment of her dumbfounded party. Her comrades are sent reeling, their minds unable to process the sheer scale of the spell. The leader and warrior can only mutter that a rookie creating such a weapon is completely unheard of. She realizes with a jolt that the incredible feat was achieved using almost none of her own magical energy. To her dismay, the powerful magic stone crumbles into dust in her hand, its power completely spent. The mage reports that the magic tool broke, and Renya confirms it couldn't handle the immense power output. She apologizes profusely, but he reassures her that testing the stone's durability was his exact intention. He concludes that to create a reusable version, he'll need to hunt even more powerful monsters for materials. Renya is puzzled by the mage's strange expression as she stares intently at her status window. She points at the screen in utter shock, revealing she gained 5 levels from that single devastating attack. The mage panics, realizing she's gained a total of 8 levels recently and feels like she's stolen the experience. She comically embraces a new identity, striking a pose as the legendary experience thief. Renya does some quick mental math, deducing that her level has now shot past 38. He nonchalantly congratulates her for surpassing his own level, which only makes her more flustered. Intrigued by the massive power-up, his former comrades eagerly ask if they can try the magic stones too. Unfazed by their excitement, Renya presents a new type of item, an adaptive magic stone. He explains its power scales with the user's input, prompting the warrior to eagerly volunteer for the next test. The leader and warrior celebrate wildly at the prospect of a massive power boost. A blushing Renya proposes an intense leveling marathon to bring their power up to the mage's new standard. His former party members immediately protest, calling his plan to gain so many levels in one day complete madness. Renya simply smiles, assuring them he has more than enough magic stones for everyone to use freely. The mage frantically tries to explain that her concern is genuine and not just a matter of being reserved. Renya observes their panicked reactions, misinterpreting their fear as simple humility. The mage, Shizuku, breathes a sigh of relief, thankful she's not being subjected to such an exhausting leveling grind. Her relief quickly turns to opportunity, as she realizes this is the perfect time to ask for advanced magic lessons. Renya agrees to teach her, but his offer of non-stop advanced fire magic lessons leaves her utterly stunned. His warning that her training will be even tougher than their leveling grind fills her with immediate dread. The grueling training session begins, pushing everyone to their absolute limits. After a brutal 10-hour monster hunt, Renya smugly reflects on his party's fulfilling day of non-stop combat. The results of their intense training session are about to be revealed. The warrior and leader successfully reach level 35, closing the gap with Shizuku's power. Meanwhile, Shizuku struggles to grasp the complex magic formulas Renya is teaching her. With the party completely exhausted, Renya announces that he has finished creating the new magic tools. Having completed their training in crafting, Renya heads straight for the Seeker Guild's reception. The receptionist looks up with a nervous expression, caught off guard by his arrival. He dumps a pile of glowing green magic stones onto the counter, leaving the receptionist to wonder what they are. Renya coolly states his intention to sell the magic tools, stunning the receptionist with the sheer quantity. She asks for a moment, using her appraisal skill to evaluate the mysterious gems. Meanwhile, Renya calculates the funds he needs, hoping to earn at least 2 million for his next venture. The receptionist grows suspicious as she examines the stones, sensing something is off. She informs him that her appraisal skill is completely useless on his items, leaving him puzzled. The guild worker explains that all dungeon-acquired magic tools should be identifiable through appraisal for evaluation. Renya quickly deduces that since he crafted them himself, they don't follow the usual rules. An awkward silence falls between them as the unprecedented situation sinks in. The receptionist is left speechless upon learning that Renya himself is the creator of these unidentifiable artifacts. The receptionist lets out an awkward laugh, struggling to believe his claim. She dismisses his story, accusing him of finding a secret stash rather than crafting the tools himself. Convinced she's solved the mystery, she beams triumphantly, leaving Renya baffled by her assumption. Her expression turns serious as she explains the guild can't purchase items they can't evaluate. Renya ponders the setback, realizing this complicates his plan to sell the stones quickly. He then suggests a straightforward solution, a live demonstration to prove their worth. They move to the Seeker Guild's official training grounds to conduct the test. The receptionist returns after a short wait, having brought someone to assist. She prepares to introduce the expert she's brought to help with the evaluation. A stoic swordswoman steps forward, her hand resting on her blade, ready to put the magic stones to the test. The receptionist introduces their expert, a stern C-rank seeker named Mizuki, brought in to test the tools. Renya offers a friendly introduction, unfazed by the swordswoman's serious demeanor. Mizuki gives a curt acknowledgement, her expression remaining guarded and professional. She examines the stone, quickly identifying it as a variable power-type artifact. The receptionist proposes a single max power test to gauge its potential, and Mizuki agrees. With the terms set, they prepare to unleash the magic stone's power on a training scarecrow. Renya watches with mild curiosity, finding the primitive-looking training dummy rather quaint. While setting up, the two women exchange whispers about Renya's surprisingly recent promotion. Mizuki directly questions Renya about crafting the tool himself, and he nonchalantly confirms her suspicions. She declares that for a homemade item, simply scratching the durable scarecrow would be a remarkable achievement. With a determined gaze, Mizuki announces the start of the test, channeling energy into the stone. A swirling vortex of fiery runes materializes, signaling the activation of a powerful spell. The runes coalesce into a blindingly bright ring of pure magical energy. The receptionist stares in utter shock, her expectations completely shattered by the immense power on display. Mizuki struggles to contain the raw energy, her expression tense as she prepares to unleash the attack. She fires a devastating beam of concentrated fire, which slams directly into the training dummy. The scarecrow is immediately engulfed in the overwhelming force of the fiery blast. After the smoke clears, the top half of the durable training dummy has been completely obliterated. Mizuki looks on with a surprisingly disappointed expression, underwhelmed by the destructive result. She notes that a true top-tier artifact would have left nothing of the scarecrow behind. While the women stand in stunned silence, Renya quietly hopes his creations are worth at least 50,000 yen each. He looks on, completely bewildered by the swordswoman's apparent dissatisfaction. The receptionist reveals the scarecrow was as tough as a level 60 monster, and the tool used less than half the normal energy. Mizuki's professional composure finally cracks, shocked by the tool's incredible efficiency. The receptionist turns to Renya with stars in her eyes, her previous skepticism replaced by pure admiration. She excitedly declares his creation a truly incredible magic tool, much to his calm surprise. After he asks if they're sellable, she enthusiastically confirms they are highly marketable. She then suggests a staggering price of 400,000 yen per stone, far exceeding his wildest expectations. Renya is left speechless, his mind reeling from the massive potential profit. Misinterpreting his shock, the receptionist raises the offer to 500,000 yen each to secure future business. The receptionist realizes the stones are a gold mine, perfect for both new and experienced seekers. Renya's brain short-circuits as he does the math on his unexpected windfall. The final sum of 10 million yen hits him like a ton of bricks, leaving him utterly stunned. He calmly accepts the deal, while the receptionist celebrates their lucrative new partnership. Meanwhile, Mizuki eyes one of the stones, seeing it as the key to her own ambitions. Her goal is revealed, a 2 million yen transfer stone for the 9th intermediate dungeon. With his pockets now full, Renya easily purchases the expensive transfer stone he needed. Now holding his prize, he prepares to register it and move on to his next objective. He brings out the transfer crystal and a mysterious clear orb, preparing to link them. As the two artifacts touch, the crystal flares with magical energy, beginning the registration process. Renya smiles, confirming the successful registration of the transfer stone. The transfer crystal is revealed to be a key item for registering and traveling between different dungeons. With his new destination locked in, he looks forward to the challenge of an intermediate dungeon. He immediately teleports to the torchlit corridors of the 9th intermediate dungeon's middle layer. Renya observes the bustling area, realizing this popular dungeon is crowded with other seekers. Undeterred by the competition, he confidently prepares to start his hunt. He wastes no time immediately unleashing a powerful fire spell on a nearby monster. His magic manifests as a fiery phoenix, a testament to his growing elemental mastery. After a swift victory, he kneels to collect the valuable monster core left behind. His efforts are rewarded as a status window reveals he's reached level 48, with his stats and skills significantly boosted. After clearing the dungeon's middle layer, Renya arrives at the imposing entrance to the boss room. He reflects on the days spent hunting specific monsters to gather the required key items. With the final stone in hand, he places it into the door's intricate locking mechanism. This dungeon's unique puzzle requires 7 specific magic stones to grant access to the final chamber. As the sigil completes, the massive doors grind open, bathing him in a brilliant light. With a look of sheer determination, he prepares to step into the unknown. He enters not just a boss room, but a hidden chamber belonging to a Master Mage. The room is a vast study, lined with shelves of mysterious potions and forgotten artifacts. Suddenly, a sinister purple magic circle flares to life on the floor, heralding the boss's arrival. From the arcane energy, a cloaked figure wielding a wicked-looking staff emerges to confront him. The imposing Master Mage reveals its skeletal form, radiating a menacing purple aura. Renya calmly identifies the boss as a powerful commander of other monsters. With a confident smirk, he decides it's time to use a special skill. He activates his appraisal skill, his eye glowing with a blue analytical light. A system window displays the Master Mage's detailed stats and abilities for him to read. He processes the information, getting a clear picture of his formidable opponent. The narrative reveals that appraisal is a common skill on Earth but rare in other worlds. He recalls purchasing this convenient skill for a hefty price of 500,000 yen. Intrigued by the new magic he's discovered, Renya prepares for the coming battle with a grin. The Master Mage counters by raising its staff, conjuring 3 massive rings of arcane energy. The rings unleash a horde of magically enhanced monsters, from wolves to orcs. He feigns surprise, sarcastically wondering if he'd been daydreaming too long. Without hesitation, the summoned beasts charge forward to attack. His appraisal skill identifies the first threat as a level 40 Red Fang wolf. The next is a hungry bird, a slightly weaker level 35 monster. He notes that the Master Mage's control makes these minions unusually powerful for their level. Unfazed, Renya meets the wolf's charge with a fist wreathed in an enveloping flame. He swiftly pivots, unleashing another fiery strike on an airborne attacker. He realizes the boss is using the minions as a distraction to leisurely chant a more powerful spell. With a confident grin, Renya prepares his own magic, certain of his victory. Renya unleashes a magic freeze spell, designed to disrupt the very formula of his enemy's magic. The Master Mage reels in shock as its powerful incantation is suddenly and completely neutralized. Panic flashes across the skeletal boss's face, its confidence shattered by the unexpected counter. With a cunning grin, Renya reveals he's already preparing his own devastating spell formula. He unleashes Crimson Torrential Rain, showering the battlefield and the remaining minions in a fiery downpour. The Master Mage desperately erects a magical barrier to shield itself from the relentless assault. While the boss is pinned down, Renya calmly weaves several more complex magic circles on the floor. He judges the boss's impressive but ultimately futile defense as naive and predictable. Renya then converts his attack into stone-piercing rain, condensing the magic into a single overwhelming sphere of destruction. The Master Mage is consumed by the cataclysmic blast, but a narrator's voice hints that the battle's outcome was not what it seemed. The narrator foreshadows an unexpected reunion with someone from his past. The Master Mage is completely overwhelmed by the colossal sphere of destructive fire. A cataclysmic explosion of light and energy marks the end of the powerful boss. Renya stands victorious as a flood of level-up notifications confirms his successful hunt. His gaze is drawn upward as a brilliant light, the dungeon's reward, descends from the ceiling. The light materializes into a physical object, landing gently on his shoulder. His appraisal skill identifies the drop as a 3-star Ring of Magic storage, a valuable mana-saving tool. A satisfied smirk crosses his face, knowing this new item fits perfectly into his grand strategy. He examines the ring, recognizing it as the key to overcoming the high energy costs of his spells. With greedy eyes, he scans the room for other treasures, determined to claim every last one. The scene shifts to the interior of the 9th Intermediate Dungeon, where other adventurers are exploring. Elsewhere in the dungeon, a ferocious, fiery wolf monster lets out a vicious roar. Renya stands unfazed as the beast collapses in a heap of flames, another easy victory for him. He calmly reviews his status, noting his impressive growth to level 51 and his enhanced fire magic skills. Satisfied with his progress, he decides to end his hunt for the day, just as another party passes by. The leader of the nearby party rallies his team to push deeper, but he pauses, sensing something. His female companion expresses shock, arguing that they should be more cautious and stay in the middle layer. Her attention is suddenly captured by another group, and she stares in disbelief at one of its members. Renya recognizes her as Mizuki, the woman who once helped him test out new magic equipment. Unaware of his presence, Mizuki passionately insists to her own party that they have the strength to advance. Mizuki insists their new magic tool is enough to handle any threat, but her party remains skeptical. Renya quietly observes from a distance, his interest piqued by the mention of a magic tool. She presents a glowing green crystal, claiming it will match her teammates' firepower with half the mana cost. The other woman, Himura, dismisses the notion, pointing out the inherent limitations of such items. Mizuki argues that her low magic consumption as a swordswoman makes the tool's cost negligible. Himura's patience finally snaps, and she furiously tells Mizuki to stop repeating herself. The party leader steps in, ending the discussion and ordering a full retreat to the guild. Mizuki glares with frustration, her ambition clashing with her team's cautious approach. Renya watches the dejected party walk away, a thoughtful look on his face. The scene shifts to the guild, where Renya, using the alias Mr. Kamikura, is being thanked for a delivery. The guild worker beams with joy, confirming the receipt of all 20 magic tools. She enthusiastically encourages him to bring more, citing high demand from other buyers. Renya contemplates the business opportunity, but his focus shifts to Mizuki's party, discussing their internal struggles. His gaze sharpens, zeroing in on the troubled group with keen interest. The 3 adventurers sit in tense silence, the weight of their disagreement hanging in the air. He recalls their argument from the previous day, piecing together the source of their conflict. Nearby, another party debates their next move, with the leader pushing to advance and his companion warning against it. Himura clarifies that her real concern is Mizuki's reckless ambition, not their party's strength. Observing from afar, Renya speculates that Mizuki's desperation must have a deeper cause. Suddenly, a guild-wide announcement chimes, capturing the attention of every seeker in the hall. The announcement reveals an additional sale of the variable-type magic tools that previously sold out instantly. The news of a restock sends a shockwave through the guild, directing interested seekers to the reception desk. A frenzy erupts as adventurers swarm the counter, some attempting to hoard the items while others cry foul. As the line descends into chaos, Renya watches from the side, surprised by the overwhelming demand for his creation. At their table, Himura connects the guild's commotion to the very magic tool Mizuki had championed. She muses that Mizuki must have cleverly purchased the items directly from the creator to use as leverage. Himura then declares her desire to have a serious talk with whoever is responsible for making the tools. Overhearing her, Renya calmly grants her wish, inviting her to speak her mind. Startled by the sudden voice, Himura turns around to confront the stranger behind her. Her eyes narrow with suspicion as she demands to know the identity of the man who just addressed her. With a confident smirk, Renya reveals he's the very creator of the magic tools she was just discussing. He waves off her apology, instead asking for details about Mizuki's situation, claiming a seller's curiosity. Her apologetic demeanor instantly vanishes, replaced by a sharp, suspicious glare. She confronts him directly, accusing him of trying to pry for information on her teammate. He internally questions Mizuki's desperation, concerned about the consequences if she over-relies on his magic tools. He thoughtfully considers the situation, realizing that a failure on her part would reflect poorly on his creations. After a moment of intense consideration, Himura's gaze hardens with resolve.
She offers a deal. She'll share some information, but only if he promises to stop selling any more tools to Mizuki.
To her surprise, Renya readily agrees to her condition with a simple smile. Himura begins to explain, revealing that Mizuki's reckless ambition is fueled by a burning desire to surpass a certain someone.